For the exterior, there weren't really a lot of parts left to be painted, but the ones that needed to be, of course, were primed first and then painted in their colors. Some additional details and secondary colors were also supposed to be added, so I took out a brush and some trusty old Vallejo flat black. I just brushed it on a couple of parts, and more specifically a lot of areas on the body. A couple parts on the exterior needed to be painted, like the buckets for the headlights, and also the interior piece for the headliner and some of the pillars. The window trim around the glass on this car is supposed to be chrome. Now I didn't want to paint it, so I took out my bare metal foil instead. That gives a lot more of a convincing look on the chrome. The ones on the front and rear are molded onto the glass, so I applied the bare metal directly onto that glass, and the sides were of course directly applied to the model itself. Once the bare metal foil was all applied and looking good, I could move on to gluing in all the glass and clear parts around, and also some more parts for the interior before sticking the chassis onto the body itself. The chassis, interior, and body are now married together, so I could move on to finishing the exterior off while gluing in various final detailed parts and pieces. The taillights and a couple other lenses were molded in clear from factory, but they needed to be painted in various different tones of red and orange, so I applied the red and the orange with the permanent markers as I usually do, before just gluing them in place with some Super Gold Plus from Bob Smith Industries. before simply just gluing the door handles onto the body, I wanted to make sure that the structure was a bit stronger than usual and they wouldn't really break off as easily, so I drilled a small hole in the door and also a small one in the door handle, inserted a metal pin, then glued that all together for it to be a lot stronger than just a glue bond. To add some detail to the wipers on the windshield, I decided to add some permanent marking on the underside where the rubber is supposed to be. Now, after doing this and gluing them in place, I discovered that the window wipers needed to be black instead of chrome, so this was pretty useless in this case, but it's a nice and quick detail to be added to a normal build if the wipers are not molded in black or supposed to be black, like I originally thought on this one. So after I had glued them in, later on I painted them black to match and as they are supposed to be, but in the meantime I just moved on to some more assembly and some more painting, like the hinges and that trim piece on the front. After applying the final couple decals onto the body and the various clear parts, I moved on to adding some Panelline accent color to the panel lines that were highly visible on the front and also around the doors, and then considered this build finished. And with that, this build is all done. I'm going to send it off to the customer and hope he's really happy with it, and in the meantime I will see you guys on the next one.